so we're very grateful for all of your flexibility and kindness to us, and for coming to celebrate Celina and Bryce. There are two ways to tell I'm nervous about this speech. The first is that my notes are written on the back of a receipt because I procrastinated that long. And the second is that Kayla's up here to help me. So as Spencer said, I've known Celina for 18 years. When we were younger, Celina was the leader of our pack. Me and Nathaniel always wanted to do whatever she was doing. Mom and Dad said that we would follow her around and do whatever she was doing, and wanted to be just like her. Celina is creative and excitable and kind. She's a good friend and a good sister to me and her two little brothers that make it their chief end in life to annoy her.
For almost as long as I've known Celina, she's been losing things. Her keys, her wallet, her passport. And one of her roommates once told me a story about how Celina enlisted her housemates to help her look for her cell phone for about 30 minutes before realizing it was in her back pocket. Celina is very intelligent and insanely curious. And she's very curious about literally everything. I don't know how many English majors you know who also take 2 semesters of organic chemistry just for fun and joy of it. But that curiosity sometimes has semi-dangerous consequences. When we were juniors in high school, we were helping out Mrs. McGowan with her chemistry lab, where they were trying to burn strips of magnesium, which is a very flammable metal. And being the wise, mature juniors we thought that we could take the magnesium outside of the school building to try and help it burn, because it wasn't burning inside. And for those of you who don't know, the high school met in the very rectangular, very dry building across the parking lot from the church where the ceremony was. It was so dry we called it the cardboard box. But we thought it'd be a good idea to get the magnesium out of the wind, so we took it under the wooden stairs on the cardboard box and started to try and light the magnesium over a pile of very dry pine needles. But thankfully someone stopped us and the crisis was averted. So then you fast forward to 3 years later when Bryce and I started at Hillsdale as freshmen, and he certainly left a very interesting impression with his toy rubber chicken named for the chef and his bacon t-shirts for Thursday breakfast, so they have bacon, and his headstands on the quad with his shirt tucked in, lest anyone stumble. Those are literally his words and not mine. But Celina readily saw Bryce's wise and serious side, and he really made an impression on her too. And shortly after their first date, Celina and I were talking, and there was a lull in the conversation, and I looked over at her, and I realized she was crying. And when I asked her why, she was like, I just really like Bryce a lot. And so the rest is history. But because of Bryce, Celina now drinks sparkling water and can probably sing Kanye West's song about Chick-fil-A from memory. Or any song about Chick-fil-A for that matter. But despite all of their goofiness and occasional snarkiness, Bryce and Celina are probably the most kingdom-minded couple I know. They really care about the gospel and about other people's hearts, and that's just something that's really special that we all. So we're giving a toast to Bryce and Celina. Oh, I'm sorry.
I have something else to say. The communication wasn't all there. I just wanted to say that I have been very lucky to get to know Bryce over the course of his relationship with Celina. For those who don't know Bryce has a smiley and goofy exterior and a kind and thoughtful interior. He is an incredible listener, especially to those who are least often listened to. Bryce won't know this, but in Mr. Adams' 14 to 16-year-old Sunday school class, Celina and I were both in there when he was talking about Proverbs 31. And even though marriage seemed like so far away then, one of the things he said that stuck with me was that if you draw a triangle and have a husband and a wife at the bottom and God at the top, the closer they travel to God, the closer they get to each other. And I have seen that in their relationship over the past year that I've known Bryce, and I've seen them growing closer to God together and growing closer to God individually, and therefore closer to each other. And I just want to say that I will be praying for you guys over the years, and I'm sure that a lot of other people in this room will be praying for you, that you will continue on that trajectory until we meet again in glory. Also, let's toast the couple.
Hear, hear.
I've known Bryce since the beginning of college. We met freshman year at Hillsdale through miscellaneous Bible studies and worship events, and quickly bonded over our mutual loves of bacon, pro-life politics, and Bryce finding joy and humor in the smallest little things in life, and being able to find a sparkle, find something to enjoy about any situation that we found ourselves in. Freshman year, when my older sister rode the train up to visit me before she left the country, her and I were waiting for Bryce to come so I could introduce her to my new best friend at school. And he, before he found us, found a coffee table and put himself underneath the coffee table and then crawled with it on his back like a turtle and came around the corner in the coffee table and then introduced himself to my sister from underneath the coffee table. So I will never forget that, and I will never forget the time that sophomore year when we moved in to be suite mates with each other, so we would share a bathroom, and Bryce stuck his head through the bathroom one night while I was in bed trying to sleep, which is when most of our conversation happened. Well, I was trying to sleep, and Bryce was talking to me, and he said, "Spencer, I think I like Celina." And I was like, "Yeah? Me too!" I was like, and walked back to his room, and I went to sleep. And then a few days later, Bryce stuck his head back through the bathroom again. I was in bed again. He was like, "Spencer?" I was like, "Yeah?" He was like, "I think I'm gonna ask Celina out." And I was like, okay. I misinterpreted something 2 days ago. And so I've seen you. Our friendship started at an impressionable time for me, and I'm really glad that it did. And I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for our friendship and for you're a very hard worker. You have a clear-eyed focus on what it is that you want and what it is that you're seeking, and sort of have an unlimited vision for what the world could be like, and for changing your surroundings and not accepting the way things have been or the way things are. And so I've seen you pursue making, changing the area around you by yourself and seeking the Lord. And now I've seen you do that with Celina, and Celina, I can say I've never seen Bryce pursue anything or take anyone as seriously the way that he does you, and that speaks highly of you and of who you are. And so I'm really glad, Bryce, that we were best friends, and Celina, I'm really glad that you get to be best friends with Bryce as well. So to you two, continuing to seek the Lord together, finding the little joys in life, and lots of bacon and sweet potatoes, Mr. and Mrs. Bryce Asberg.
So John gets to dance with Celina later. That's where he'll be nervous. So now this is my point where I get to be nervous. So in our family, we have what is called the patriarch of the family speech, where every time we all used to get together, the oldest person in the room would stand up and would give some kind of speech about how grateful, usually it was my grandfather, how grateful he was for all of his family and how blessed he was to have us all. And it just was always super sweet. It never got old. I don't know for you and Christina and Carl, if you ever, I mean, sometimes we rolled our eyes at Grandpa, but you walked away just feeling happy in your heart. And so Grandpa's not here. He died, how long ago? 10 years ago? Maybe 10 years ago. So we have not had a patriarch of the family speech since then, except that we always have speeches like this that feel very much to me like patriarch of the family speeches. Christina is slightly older than me, but I'm gonna do it today. My dad is not here. Is Daddy calling?
He's calling, yes.
Okay, Daddy's gonna call and give a patriarch of the family speech. Phew, that relieves me a little bit. Okay, so I will get to what I'm gonna say. I should be toasting you too, and I am. I am so grateful for the two of you finding one another, and I could not be happier. We could not be happier about the two of you and your wedding today and your future marriage. However, this has made me realize just what a huge blessing all of you guys are to us. You think that you raised your children, don't look at me, Christina. You think you raised your children on your own. You think that you're the one, I mean, obviously you are the one who God uses mostly, but I look around at every table here, and I am seeing people who have had an influence on my daughter, or who have had an influence on the person my daughter just married. And so I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to all of you for just how much you have loved our family, for how much you have loved Celina, for how much you have been a just incredible blessing to all of us. Sometimes it might just be having Grace to come in my house, and, well, Charity's not here, she's seen the worst of it, but having Grace to come in my house and say, I love you, it doesn't matter. And other of you have had the grace to take my daughter and mentor her, or take my daughter for a walk, Allie, right? Or teach Hannah. You taught Celina, you probably don't even remember, but you did that book with her, Eve's Envy or something a while ago, and just the relationships, I seriously could go around the room to each of you guys, particularly from our church, and just mention so many things and ways that you have been a huge blessing. So I am going to try to wrap up. I should have written it down. Yes, I just wanted to say that I wanted to end with my family, because I think the first place that you learn about God's love in an ideal situation is in your family. And I can say honestly that I have seen that in my parents, I've seen that in my siblings, and if any of you have spent any time with us in this past week, particularly the Hillsdale and out-of-town crew, you know that I am not alone. I cannot do anything alone, and I am just so grateful for this crew over here and all that they have done to support us and love us, not just practically. I mean, obviously, practically, they did this. My sister in the, what color is that dress? In the lovely dress over there. She is just single-handedly the most organized person I know, and I'm just so grateful for her help in all of this. But I just wanted to end by saying, family is wonderful. God's family is even better, and I am so blessed to have family that is also God's family, and I am so blessed to have God's family as well. So Celina and Bryce, I hope, Celina, that we have raised you in a world where family and God's family is most important. And so I was hoping we could, I don't know, can we do this? Do we toast to God's family? Or do we just say, we love you all, and we are just so incredibly, overflowingly heart happy that you can be here with us and that you've had an influence on Celina's life? And Bryce, too. Thank you.
story that I wanted to tell was, I think it was our some number of date. Bryce had this very romantic idea that Spencer and David Hunter, I'm sorry, I need to keep this microphone close to my mouth. Spencer and David Hunter would come, and Jack Coker, who is not here, sadly. He wears a top hat and blows a train whistle often. That they would come and they would bring us chairs while we were on a nice romantic walk, and they'd bring the chairs and they'd bring us hot cocoa, and we'd sit and drink our hot cocoa on the side of the road and talk or something. So Spencer, being I don't even know what, the very
Man with a car.
man with a car, yes. I'm gonna say aggressive, no, not violent. Innovative and creative person that he is, decided to elaborate on this plan and make more of this plan. So he took his car and he took a very large tube of confetti and he took these guys and dressed everyone in black suits and put them all in the car. Jack was out the sunroof with his top hat on. This is our third date, so we're still in the figuring this out kind of phase. And while we're walking on this date, and Spencer, we see this car driving towards us, and we walked past the park where we're supposed to walk in the park. Bryce is like, let's keep walking. I'm like, the park is right there. He's like, no, let's just keep walking. Okay. So Spencer comes driving, and I didn't know it was him, but I knew that there was there was a boy out the window, and I was like, oh, whatever. College kids, yes. And then I realized that it was Jack, because he was blowing his train whistle and wearing his top hat. So then, as soon as I realized this, Spencer accelerates, Jack's top hat goes flying, still blowing the train whistle, and he starts speeding, not just on the road straight down the road, but on the road and a little bit in my direction. So he, all of a sudden, right as he's about to hit me, in the part where I die, he slams on his brakes and turns the car. So now I'm thinking, no longer just crazy college boys, these are Bryce's friends, so-called, and they have almost killed me, and now they're about to kidnap us. This is what I thought. So then they jump out of the car in their black suits and their dark sunglasses, and I get a cup of hot chocolate shoved in my hands. I'm standing there pondering my own existence, because I almost died. And Spencer walks over, stands about 1 foot away from me, holding a ginormous tube of confetti, and goes, boom! And it went everywhere. It went in the cup of hot cocoa, which had a top on it. And then they drove away. They didn't say a word. The train whistle was blowing continuously. And we were there. And so then Bryce and I are sitting on these chairs on this person's front driveway with confetti everywhere and great hot chocolate. The hot chocolate was great. And I thought it was a very serious date. I thought this was we were going to talk.
There was a confetti cannon. How was it a serious thing?
I was pondering my existence. Anyway, so we had somewhat of a serious conversation.
So we sit down and she turns to me and says, "What makes you think this could work?"
I had made a list. I was like, I need to be serious about this. I had a list of important questions that we had to talk about at some point. The first one was why do you like me? Why'd you ask me out? Anyway.
And for the record, she was walking closest to the road because there were ditches on the other side, and she asked me to walk in them.
Sure.
Okay, that's the end. To Spencer, who's a great friend despite almost killing me.
I am here to hold up the phone for my father to give the patriarch of the family speech that Martina referred to. And so this is my dad, Art Thompson, and his wife, Faith. And you can see their picture in the center of this here book. So the book that's on your table, that's them there. So you can picture them while they speak to you. I'll do my best to make this work. Are you ready, Dad?
Did Martina use that picture from the post office again?
No, she did not.
Oh, good. Well, thank you very much for inviting us to speak this afternoon, this evening. You know, we really wanted to be there, but it just wasn't to be. But I've got to make this official now. And to make this official, it reminds me of a story of two children who were discussing marriage, and one asked the other, well, what is marriage and why do people get married? And the other child responded that it's when two people meet each other and they fall in love, and then when they get married, they get tied up tight together. And so as we see that you have now, Lord, has brought you together, and you are tied together, and we just pray that through the years that the Lord will make those bonds tighter and tighter and tighter. And may the Lord bless you with two hearts together, that your joys will be doubled, and that your burdens will be cut in half. We just thank the Lord for bringing you together, and we ask his richest blessings on your life together.
So 1 + 1 = 1. Yeah. I think we've got some people in the group today who remember being made honorary Norwegians. Good. Yep. And to make this event truly official, Bryce, we're going to have to make you an honorary Norwegian.
Swedish name.
There's some debate going on here, Dan. Pretend.
Well, we'll still go with the honorary Norwegian position. Talk to Mike or to John about and Allison. Whether there's been any real benefit in being an honorary Norwegian. Well, again, we say congratulations. The Lord's going to lead you. You make sure you follow. We love you.
Yes, we do. We love you both.
Congratulations, Bryce, and best wishes, Celina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you. Love you, Presbyterian. Love you, Mama.
And you,
Thank you. Love you, sweetheart.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
To Bryce and Celina.
Rather be alone, 'cause you think you won't find it tied to someone else. Who said it's true that the growing only happens on your own? They don't know me and you. I don't think you have to leave if to change is what you need. You can change right next to me. When you're high, I'll take the lows. You can ebb and I can flow, and we'll take it slow and grow as we go. Grow as we go. You won't be the only one. I am unfinished, I've got so much left to learn. I don't know how this river runs, but I'd like the company through every twist and turn. Who said it's true that the growing only happens on your own? They don't know me and you. You don't ever have to leave if to change is what you need. You can change right next to me. When you're high, I'll take the lows. You can ebb and I can flow, and we'll take it slow and grow as we go. Grow as we go. Grow as will become. I can't promise, it's not written in the stars, but I believe that when it's done, we're gonna see that it was better that we grew up together. Tell me you don't wanna leave, 'cause if change is what you need, you can change right next to me. When you're high, I'll take the lows. You can ebb and I can flow. We'll take it slow and grow as we go.